Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to look into the second vulnerability, which is broken authentication. Now, what is broken authentication vulnerability in APIs? This type of vulnerability refers to a type of security vulnerability in the API layer of an application, which allows unauthorized users to bypass the normal authentication process. It is a significant risk in large-scale applications and modern single-page applications due to complexity and often insecure implementation of authentication protocols. Broken authentication typically occurs when security controls related to authentication are either poorly implemented or missing altogether. This vulnerability could mean that attackers can compromise user accounts, perform actions on behalf of users, or even take full control of user accounts, leading to potential for significant damage and data hack. Now, some of the examples of broken authentication exploitation by attackers are listed here. These are some of the common examples. Like in some cases, attackers might be able to use brute force attacks to guess username and passwords. And in other cases, they might exploit weak session management by predicting or guessing the session IDs. In more sophisticated attacks, the attackers might exploit flaws in the multi-factor authentication process or impersonate genuine users by manipulating the tokens they use to verify their identity. Attackers might get access to your unencrypted data storage, where your login credentials might get exposed. Other examples are using insecure password reset flows, using predictive patterns for your IDs or other data entities, manipulating cookies or hidden fields or URL parameters to tamper with user authentication process. If your application has exposed session IDs in the URL, then this makes your APIs vulnerable to hijacking. So in our sample code, we are going to look at some of the examples related to broken authentication vulnerability. We will identify them, understand its impact, and then fix them. We are going to focus mostly on the JWT token authentication process, how it's created, how it's verified, and then we will also look at some of the endpoints API auth and API users verify to understand how broken authentication can impact your application. So let's go to our application code.